What happens when a Hollywood actress turned royal takes a seat across from one of America's most beloved talk show hosts, only for the interview to unravel into one of the most explosive clashes daytime TV has ever seen? The Jennifer Hudson show, long known for its warmth and compassion, promised another uplifting conversation. But this time, the world would witness something very different. What began as a polite exchange with Meghan Markle spiraled into an on-air storm of tension, ego, and unfiltered emotion, culminating in a dramatic turn no one in the studio audience could have predicted. The set buzzed with anticipation as producers rushed about, headsets crackling with final notes. Applause signs glowed in the hands of eager fans, their faces alight with expectation. Jennifer Hudson emerged in a shimmering emerald dress, her radiant smile drawing cheers. "Welcome back, everybody," she beamed. "Today we have a very, very special guest. She's been at the center of global conversations. A philanthropist, a mother, a woman unafraid to speak her truth. Please welcome Meghan Markle." The applause was warm, if restrained. Meghan stepped on stage with perfect posture, chin lifted high, her faint smile betraying little softness. Jennifer rose to greet her. "Meghan, welcome. Thank you for joining us." "Thank you, Jennifer," Meghan replied smoothly. "I'm happy to be here." They settled into their seats. Jennifer leaned forward, her trademark warmth lighting the moment. "So, how has it been adjusting to life here in the U.S.? I imagine it's a big change from London." Meghan's smile thinned, her brow rising. She let out a short laugh. "Is that your way of saying I wasn't welcome there?" The audience chuckled nervously, unsure if it was a joke. Jennifer blinked, her smile tightening. "No, not at all. I just meant culturally. It must be a shift." "Life is a cultural shift, Jennifer," Meghan countered coolly, crossing her legs. "I don't define myself by geography. If others choose to measure me by whether I was welcomed, that says more about them than me." The atmosphere grew heavier. Jennifer kept her composure. "I hear you, but a lot of our viewers are curious about how that transition felt for you personally." "Personally?" Meghan echoed, tilting her head. "Personally, I've always adapted just fine. I don't spend my life worrying about approval. That's exhausting. Some of us move on." The tension now hung in the air. Jennifer smoothed her dress, steadied herself, and pressed on. "Well, Meghan, people also love hearing about family life. How's married life with Prince Harry? How are you two balancing things with the kids?" The audience leaned forward. Meghan's eyes narrowed. "Married life is wonderful, but I find it fascinating how people cling to every rumor. Harry and I don't need to defend our marriage to tabloids, or to anyone. Frankly, Jennifer, I'm surprised you'd even ask. Don't you think that gossip has been beaten to death?" The studio chilled. Jennifer's smile flickered before she laughed lightly, trying to diffuse. "I didn't mean it as gossip. Our audience just loves hearing about family life, that's all." Meghan leaned back, posture rigid. "Well then, you can tell them we're perfectly fine, and they don't need to read into every baseless headline." A murmur spread through the audience. Jennifer drew a slow breath, her voice steady. "Fair enough. I respect that." She shuffled her cards, her smile brave but strained. "Now, let's talk about your career." "You've had such an interesting journey," Jennifer began, her voice rich with admiration. "From acting to becoming a duchess, and now leading your foundation. Looking back, what do you miss most about your acting days?" For the first time, Meghan's lips curved into a dry smile. "Miss? I don't miss anything. Acting was a chapter, a stepping stone. But honestly, Jennifer, when people ask that, it always feels like they're trying to remind me of a time before my life really mattered. Acting was fine, but my impact now is far greater." Jennifer blinked, surprised by the bluntness, but quickly steadied herself with a gentle laugh. "I didn't mean to minimize what you're doing now. I just know fans loved your work." "Fans love a lot of things," Meghan cut in smoothly. "That doesn't mean I need to relive them. I've outgrown that part of my life." The air grew heavier. Jennifer's warmth held. though her patience thinned at the edges. She pressed forward carefully. Okay, then let's talk about your foundation. What kind of legacy are you hoping to build? Meghan's smile sharpened, her tone lofty. Legacy isn't about ribbon cuttings or smiling for cameras. It's about redefining what matters. And yes, that makes people uncomfortable. Institutions, media, even nations. They don't like that I refuse to play by their outdated rules. But if some people can't handle that, that's not my problem. That's theirs. The audience exchanged uneasy glances. This wasn't the uplifting interview they expected. Jennifer shifted in her chair, her laugh carrying a trace of steel. You certainly don't hold back, do you? Why should I? Meghan smirked, chin tilted upward. The camera swept across the silent crowd. In the control room, a producer mouthed, "This is about to get interesting." After a quick commercial break, the applause sign flickered again. The audience clapped politely, but the energy had shifted. They leaned forward now, tense, waiting. Jennifer's radiant smile held, but her eyes betrayed determination. She had faced countless celebrities and politicians, but Meghan Markle was a different kind of challenge. "Welcome back," Jennifer said warmly. "We're here with Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, philanthropist, and advocate for mental health and equality." "Meghan, thank you again for being here." "Of course," Meghan replied, her posture regal, her tone commanding. "It's important to give people the truth. Unfiltered." Jennifer's smile never wavered. "Well, let's talk about something simple. You've been living in California for a while now. How has it felt, building a life in America after so much time in the UK?" It was a safe question, but Meghan's face stiffened instantly. "Is that your way of implying I wasn't accepted in England?" She shot back. A soft gasp rippled through the audience. Jennifer blinked, caught off guard but quick to recover. "Not at all. I was just asking about the contrast." "I've heard that before," Meghan interrupted, her voice rising. "People making little digs, suggesting I left because I couldn't fit in. The truth, Jennifer, is that I chose a better life for my family. That's not failure. It's freedom." Jennifer held her smile, though its edges were strained. "Fair enough. I think many people admire your courage to make that change." Polite applause followed, but the mood was uneasy. Jennifer pivoted carefully. "And how's life with Harry? People always want to know. What's it like balancing such a high-profile marriage with family life?" Meghan's laugh came out cold. "You mean the gossip? The endless speculation? Honestly, Jennifer, I would have expected you, of all people, not to pander to tabloid headlines. Harry and I are fine, more than fine. We're in love, raising 2 beautiful children. And unlike most of the people speculating, we actually know the truth." For the first time, Jennifer's smile faltered. Her voice softened, but there was firmness beneath it. "I wasn't asking about gossip, Meghan. I was asking about your experience." "That's something only you can share," Jennifer said gently. Meghan leaned back, folding her arms. "Well, my experience is private. Not everything needs to be dissected just because people think they're entitled to my life story." The audience shifted uneasily, murmurs spreading across the studio. Jennifer drew a slow, steady breath, centering herself. "All right," she said with a nod. "Let's move to another topic. Many viewers admire how openly you've spoken about your time in the royal family. What do you feel you've learned since stepping away from that role?" Meghan's jaw tightened. Her eyes flashed, the very mention of royalty striking a nerve. "What I've learned," she said, her voice dripping with disdain, "is that titles and institutions are meaningless if they don't serve humanity. People love to act like I should be grateful for being part of that family. But the truth is, I outgrew them. Their world is outdated. I've moved on. Perhaps everyone else should too." A hush fell over the studio. Jennifer's hands clasped in her lap, her poise unbroken, but her patience clearly fraying. "Some might say," Jennifer began carefully, "that being part of that institution gave you a platform to amplify your voice. Do you feel any gratitude for that?" "Gratitude?" Meghan snapped, her eyes narrowing. Why should I be grateful for being silenced? For being endlessly scrutinized? Gratitude is a weapon used to keep people quiet and compliant. I've built my own platform now. I don't owe them anything, the audience gasped. Whispers crackling through the air. Jennifer's calm facade cracked slightly. She leaned forward, her tone firmer now. All right, let's pivot again. There's been chatter about your Netflix projects. Some reports suggest you asked for higher pay for the next season. Is there truth to that? Meghan's head snapped toward her, her tone venomous. Excuse me? Do you really think I sit around negotiating gossip with tabloids? Netflix recognizes my value. If people want to call ambition greed, that's their problem, not mine. Frankly, Jennifer, I'd expect better from you than repeating baseless rumors. Jennifer inhaled sharply. Her smile stayed, but her voice carried steel. I wasn't quoting tabloids, Meghan. I was asking you directly, giving you the chance to set the record straight. Meghan scoffed loudly, leaning back in her chair. The record is that I don't owe anyone an explanation for how I negotiate my worth. Least of all this audience. The room went silent. For the first time, Jennifer Hudson's warmth was eclipsed by something harder, steadier. She adjusted her posture, her smile fading. Well, she said slowly, that's certainly one way to put it. Uneasy laughter rippled through the crowd, sensing the battle lines drawn. Meghan's jaw was set, her eyes daring Jennifer to push further. Jennifer, after years of patience and grace, looked like she just might. The studio lights blazed hotter, the tension thickening. Meghan sat rigid, arms crossed, her lips pressed in a thin line. Jennifer leaned forward, her hands clasped, her voice calm, but sharpened. All right, Meghan, she said. Let's take a step back. People have followed your journey, from Hollywood to the palace to now. They've heard your story in documentaries, interviews, books. But some feel the narrative keeps shifting. What would you say to those who think you've changed your story over time? The audience leaned in. Meghan tilted her head, her voice cool and dismissive. I'd say those people are too obsessed with dissecting me instead of seeing the bigger picture. I don't owe anyone consistency when my lived experience is complex. If people want a neat little story, maybe they should watch a fairy tale instead of my life. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jennifer raised her brows, her patience visibly thinning. Fair enough, she said evenly. But surely you understand why people are confused. You've said one thing in one interview, then something else later. Meghan cut her off sharply, her eyes flashing. Oh, so now you're accusing me of lying. Jennifer's lips pressed into a firm line. I didn't say lying. I said confused. And you're sitting here on my show, Meghan. So I think it's fair to ask what's real and what isn't. For the first time, the warmth drained entirely from Meghan's face. She leaned forward, her voice sharp, every word a blade. Jennifer, let me explain something. When you've lived under constant attack, by the press, by the institution, by people who will twist anything you say, you learn that truth isn't about timelines or details. It's about survival. And if people can't understand that, that's on them. Jennifer held her ground, her posture tightening. I hear you. But let me tell you something, too. When you ask people to believe you, when you build entire projects around your story, they're going to ask questions. That's not an attack, Meghan. That's accountability! The audience erupted into spontaneous applause. Meghan's jaw tightened. She sat back, her tone turning icy. Accountability? You want to talk about accountability? How about the accountability of a media machine that profits off my suffering? Or the accountability of people who sit here pretending to care while chasing ratings? Jennifer's patience cracked. She straightened, her voice low and deliberate, each syllable sharp. With all due respect, Meghan, don't come on my show and accuse me of chasing ratings. I built this platform to uplift people, to give them space to share their truth. If you can't handle direct questions, maybe interviews aren't for you. The studio roared with cheers and applause. Meghan's eyes widened, her expression darkening into fury. She laughed bitterly. Oh, I see. The applause lines. The gotcha moment. Congratulations, Jennifer. You've joined the long list of people who think they can reduce me to a headline. Jennifer leaned in, her voice steady but laced with bite. No one's reducing you, Meghan. You're doing that yourself. Every time someone asks you a question, you snap back. Every time someone tries to connect, you twist it into an attack. That's not strength. That's arrogance, the audience gasped, some clapping, others whispering in shock. Meghan's composure cracked. Her hands gripped the armrests, her voice hissing. Arrogance. You think standing up for myself is arrogance? No, Jennifer. What's arrogant is pretending you understand my life when you've never lived a day of it. Jennifer didn't flinch. And what's arrogant, she fired back, is believing that because you married into a family with titles, you're above being asked questions like everyone else. The words hit like a thunderclap. Meghan's mouth opened, then snapped shut. Her eyes glistened, not with humility, but with rage that had nowhere to go. The audience fell dead silent, the tension thick and suffocating. Jennifer leaned back, her arms folding across her emerald dress, her voice calm but unyielding. You wanted a platform, Meghan. Well, this is what it looks like when you're asked to actually use it. The truth is, you can't demand sympathy and then push people away when they ask for clarity. You can't have it both ways. Silence stretched, heavy as stone. Meghan shifted, visibly shaken but too proud to admit defeat. She wiped the corner of her eye quickly, pretending it was nothing. And for the first time that afternoon, Jennifer Hudson wasn't just the host of a talk show. She was the voice of a crowd, tired of excuses. The audience erupted into thunderous applause. Meghan looked away, her jaw clenched, her hands trembling as she fought to hold control. The studio felt less like a stage now, and more like a courtroom, and Jennifer's verdict had landed. You talk about authenticity, Jennifer said, her tone edged with steel. But everything you've said today drips with contempt. For the press, for the audience, even for me sitting right here. Gasps rippled through the studio. Meghan's face flushed crimson. She opened her mouth to fire back, but Jennifer didn't give her the chance. You want the truth? Jennifer pressed, eyes blazing. Here it is. You're not a royal. You're not a leader. You're not a voice for the voiceless. You are someone who married into a famous family and thought the world would bow at your feet. And when it didn't, you weaponized your pain and called it a platform. The audience audibly gasped. Meghan's composure cracked. She shifted forward in her chair, eyes glassy, lips trembling. How dare you? She whispered, her voice shaking. Jennifer didn't relent. You keep saying you've moved on, but every word out of your mouth drags the royal family back into it. You claim to want privacy, but you cash checks to broadcast your life to millions. And let's be real, Meghan. The only reason you stood on that world stage was because of Harry's last name. Without him, without that crown, you'd just be another actress with a resume no one remembered. The words landed like bombs. Meghan's defenses shattered. Tears welled, spilling before she could stop them. She shook her head furiously, fighting to hold herself together. You don't know me? She shot back, her voice breaking. You don't know what I've sacrificed. Jennifer's voice softened, but the steel remained. You're right. I don't know every detail of your life, but I know patterns, and what I see is someone desperate to be adored, furious the world won't play along. You can't have it both ways, Meghan. You can't demand sympathy while treating everyone around you like they're beneath you. The audience erupted into applause, some rising to their feet. Meghan's shoulders shook as she fumbled with her microphone, unclipping it with trembling hands. This was a mistake, she muttered, her voice barely audible but caught by the studio mics. I don't need to sit here and be insulted. She stood abruptly, snatching her purse, her tears plain for all to see. The studio cameras followed her as she stormed off stage. Gasps echoed as phones came out, recording every second of the meltdown. Jennifer Hudson remained seated, her posture proud, her emerald dress glowing under the lights. She didn't chase after Meghan. She didn't soften her words. Instead, she turned to the audience, her voice steady, professional, but laced with quiet disappointment. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said with a long exhale, "I want to apologize to you. You came here expecting an honest conversation, and instead you watched someone walk away the moment accountability entered the room. That's not what this show is about. This show is about truth, about connection, about facing the hard questions, even when it's uncomfortable." The audience thundered with applause, some cheering loudly. Jennifer glanced toward the camera, her expression calm but resolute. "We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue, with real honesty." The lights dimmed as the band struck up the transition music. The cameras cut to commercial. But the damage was already done. Meghan Markle had walked out in tears. Jennifer Hudson had delivered the sharpest takedown of her career, and daytime television had just changed forever.